You will drown in eternal night.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and to another Mortal Kombat mobile character review. This time we are taking a closer look at Klassic Mileena. We will go through all of her special attacks, her X-ray, her passive and everything else she brings to MK Mobile. Klassic Mileena is part of the Outworld class and her passive is called Femme Fatale. When Mileena defeats an opponent, she recovers a percentage of that enemy's max health. Mileena's female teammates gain health when she defeats an opponent. Klassic Mileena was introduced with update 1.16 alongside characters such as Cosplay Jackie Briggs and Injustice 2 Raiden, and in the beginning she was an exclusive Faction Wars character only, until then later with update 2.1.2 she was basically introduced into the challenge area, where she, alongside with Mournful Kitana and Venomous Deborah, didn't get only a stat upgrade, but also became a full challenge character. Upon introduction she was maxed out with level 50 and Fusion 7. Also her passive remains the same until this day. She was also added to the challenge pack, and in the past there have been several other packs, for example like the Classic Event Starter Pack, but then with that 2.1.2 update she was also a part of the Outworld Queens pack. And even though she was never a character in the old store, in the new store you can obtain her for 450 souls. And as the level cap was raised with update 2.18, she now is maxed out with level 60 and Fusion X. Mileena's gear piece is the Razor Sai, and it gives you 25% critical hit chance boost, 50% chance to convert 50% damage to health on special attack 2, which goes for Mileena characters only, and 25% damage boost against enemies affected by bleed or poison. In terms of her feats of strength, she will have to win 200 matches in challenge mode to unlock her rune. For her victory stances, she has to win 750 matches in Faction Wars. For her taunts, she has to perform 1500 special 2 attacks. For her icons, she has to perform 2000 special 1 attacks. For her backgrounds, she has to knock out 500 Kitana enemies. And for her titles, she has to win 500 matches in battle mode. And now we are going to take a look at the victory stances one by one, starting with Double Down. Next would be No Chance. As a third one we have the Psy Flourish. And exclusive for Klassic Mileena only, MK3 Victory. And on your victory screen it will look like this. Now I'm going to show you all of her backgrounds. Next up we have the icons. And finally, the titles. Klassic Mileena has two kinds of combo enders. The first one starts with 2 punches, then 1 kick, and then 2 more slashes with her claws, if you will, pushing the opponent slightly back. For her second one, she uses a wild spin with her sais, ending then in throwing another sai at the opponent, pushing the opponent back in the process as well. Her special one attack is called Sadistic and it has no buffs or debuffs tied to it. Here is important to note that if you hit 90% or higher in the minigame, she will throw 2 sais at the opponent, whereas when you score below 90% she will only throw 1 of those. Either way, this attack is capable of knocking out your opponent. Her special 2 attack is called Classic Combo and it has a bleed effect tied to it. This high damage attack doesn't only look good, but it is also capable of knocking out your opponent. Her X-ray is called Ladder's Dance and it is identical with all the X-rays we have from Mileena in the game so far. Also keep in mind that this attack also has a bleed effect tied to it, and on top demonstrates her hunger for human flesh. Her passive is all about healing. She heals herself as well as all the female characters on her team, and here it doesn't even matter if they are Outworld characters or not. As long as they are female, they will benefit from Mileena when she KOs an opponent. And now it's time to recommend some gear again. My first choice goes to the Razor Sai, her very own equipment. She is not only capable of healing on special attack 2 use, but also has that damage boost on bleeding opponents, which of course makes a lot of sense once you use her special 2 more frequently to cause the bleed on the opponent, so in that moment the Razor Sai will kick in. If you prefer the heal more on a special 1 attack focused gameplay, then go for the Bladed Fan, which also adds a block breaker on basic attacks. But in any case, it is always wise to play her with the Soul Medallion. Not only that it gives you power generation, but it also cuts power cost of Special 2 in half. So no matter if you are playing Special 1 or Special 2 focused gameplay with this piece of equipment, you cannot go wrong at all. My fourth choice would be Moloch's Ball and Chain. Always great to have the chance of a block break on special attacks. And of course here the chance for lethal blow attacks, as well as a chance to get free special 2s. But the winner in my book is the Vial of Infinite Blood, causing bleed on combo enders if you are lucky enough. And of course you have the Block Breaker, and since it's an accessory, you can use that in combination with her Razor Sai, or even go full on Bloody Tomahawk or Wrathhammer or Quiliang Scepter or any other gear piece that doesn't have a block breaker, simply because you get that from the accessory slot. When it comes to my actual favorite loadout, I would go with the Razor Sai, the Living Dead armor, to just have the chance to reanimate from the dead one more time. And the Vial of Infinite Blood is usually never far when I personally play Klassic Mileena. Next up we have the character recommendations, and I'm starting with Mournful Kitana, who gives a bar of power to every Outworld teammate, so that is never a bad idea to let Classic Mileena start with a bar of power. Aside from that, you can also play her with Venomous Devourer. Since Mileena is causing bleed, Devourer will also shine due to her damage boost on bleeding and poisoned opponents, and here in return Devourer can poison the opponent, which then leads to a damage boost for Classic Mileena if you play her together with her own equipment. Then a personal favorite combination would be Kobujutsu Tanya, especially when she reduces the health of the entire opponent team with her special 2 attack. Then Classic Mileena will have a way easier time knocking out opponents and therefore giving back health to her female teammates. Then of course Assassin Jade is always a very deadly asset to every Outworld team, or basically to every team you play. But in this particular case my main focus is on the faster tag in and out speed, which helps Mileena to get into the fight very quickly again. And in case Jade disables special attacks with her cripple attack, then of course Mileena has it quite easy to take down an opponent. And while we're already speaking about healing, then how about going with the Day of the Dead Kitana, who heals every Outworld teammate each time there is a resurrection, a knockout, a character death in your own team or the opponent team. The healing will be constantly going, and if you combine that with the passive of Classic Mileena, it's a very deadly combination. Classic Mileena is not only the gold character with the highest stats in the game so far, I mean in terms of gold characters of course, because diamonds have higher stats than her, but just in the realm of gold characters she is basically the queen. But also since the introduction of Survivor mode, she has become like one of the strongest characters that can be used in that game mode, since every time when you knock out an opponent, then she will heal basically her entire health back. And especially when you play her together with other female characters, it's usually a very pretty safe win, I would say. At least if you have to open the final 2 towers or just play a very solid match in the Fatal Tower. Before Survivor mode I was not that much impressed with Classic Mileena, but now that we have the Survivor mode going on, she is absolutely, I would even go that far and say that she's the best character in the Survivor mode, simply because that heal is so important, because the health carries over from match to match, and when you are playing her with her female teammates, they all can go back to full health even at match 10 or above, which is just amazing. Upon introduction it was quite hard to unlock her since she was a Faction Wars exclusive, but now that she is a challenge card and part of the challenge pack, can drop at the end of Faction War seasons and so on and so forth, it's really good and easy kind of to max her out nowadays, and each time a challenge comes around you have 3 copies more. So let's jump into the pros and cons right away, and of course the first pro has to be the passive. The healing ability is amazing. Unfortunately you really have to stick with other female characters and cannot just choose any kind of character type, but lucky for us we have quite a few really good female characters in MK Mobile, so it's not that much of a loss. Then another good thing is the high damage output on her special 2 attack. And even if you are not managing to KO an opponent right away, the bleed effect that is tied to it also will reduce their health over time, and making it quite easy for Mileena to just prey on her, let's call it unfortunate victims. And my third and final pro are the stats. No matter if attack or health, it's quite impressive for a gold character, so Mileena absolutely gets 2 thumbs up in that department. But now let's also have a look at the negatives, and my first negative would be that there is no buff or debuff on her special one. Not really that much of a problem, since she already has the bleed on special 2 and 3, but having a little something extra would have been nice here. The second con is that you kind of have to play her with other female characters, since they are the only ones benefiting from her passive. Also not much of a deal, because you still can have one character that is capable of healing, while the others can do something else. But if you really want to use like male characters together with her, they will no longer benefit from her passive. And as third and final con, since I don't really have that much of negative things to say about her, I find the victory stances a little bit boring, especially because the Psy Flourish and the MK3 victory are very similar. But yeah, that is pretty much everything that is to say in that department, so let's get to a final rating, and it is quite easy for me here. I will give her an easy 8 out of 10, which makes her a great character. Before survival mode I would have the tendency more towards the 7 out of 10, but now with survival mode she definitely gets that extra point with ease. And yeah, thus concludes my review for Klassic Mileena. I hope that you enjoyed this review as well. And by now I have reviewed every single challenge character, and unless they finally introduce new ones, we are at least done with that segment and can focus on other characters in the upcoming future. But for now, this is all from my side. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in once again. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. In case you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button twice just to make sure. And if you want to support the channel a little further, please consider joining the Patreon family of KC Mobile Gaming. You can already do that with as little as just $1 a month. And also follow me on social media like Twitter and Facebook. You will find all the necessary information in the description below of every video. If you want to see more content, then why don't you just click on one of those 2 videos here. Thank you for your support. Have a good one. KC over and out for today.